Play different.
Greetings fellow Mac addicts! In today's video, we're diving into the world of Bob the Fish, the titular character of an oddball arcade adventure game from Monkey Farm Software. You know that you're in for a goofy time as soon as you read the game's story, which I'll summarise now. There was once a friendly fish named Hamikushio. Well, he was friendly until Toxco polluted the waters with nasty goo, mutating him into a hideous creature. Due to this, Hamikushio became introverted, and so no one sent him any Christmas cards, causing him to become enraged and steal all the pearls that kept Atlantis safe and secret. He also took control of the minds of the sea's creatures, except for Bob and a few others who were protected because they registered their shareware, which means I definitely would have been a servant of Hamikushio. Anyway, Bob's quest is to recover all the pearls which are stored in treasure chests scattered across the ocean. Of course, the story barely factors into the game itself. It's just there to set up a series of challenges for the player, but the quirky humour in the introduction is found throughout the whole game. It begins by plopping you onto a map with every level unlocked and ready to play. A note next to the start location tells you to just go ahead and play any level. Once you make a selection, it will then, in most cases, show a 2D side-scrolling level. Being a fish, and the game being set underwater, in most levels Bob can move freely in 8 directions, and he can fire bubbles out of his mouth like machine gun bullets. Most stages are about navigating coral-laden environments, shooting bubbles, and killing and/or avoiding enemies, but earning that pearly treasure in each area often involves a task unique to each level. In fact, one of the more memorable things about Bob the Fish is the sheer variety that the game offers. Here is just a small handful of things you get to do in Bob the Fish. Deliver a package, infiltrate a fort to return a child's stolen ball, rescue a princess with the aid of 2 fish knights, play tag, take Steve Jobs' mallet to Windows PCs, gather sheep, outmaneuver a pack of piranhas, pilot a submarine despite the fact that you're a fish, rescue your pet dog from aliens, play chicken with seagulls, compete in a race, and fight bosses. Even the levels without a gimmicky objective at least have a layout to make them feel unique to the others. There are a few levels that do things really different with the gameplay too, such as playing a Pong or Space Invaders knockoff. One level has you navigating a maze using only the light of an anglerfish, which uses a neat spotlight effect that the game's creator, John Butler, was particularly proud of. A large part of Bob the Fish's challenge is dealing with the enemies, or rather, their behaviour. Some are simple, such as patrolling left and right, making them easy to manage. But Butler liked to have lots of random, unpredictable behaviour in his games, because he enjoyed things being different every time he played, especially since he would be testing so frequently. As a result, many enemies have erratic, seemingly random movement. The manual gives tips on how to manage these enemies, such as leaving plenty of space between you and them, and using the environment for protection. It also advises you to study the movement of enemies, as although RNG does factor heavily in their behaviour, there are still variables you can try to predict even if it's unreliable to do so. And on levels with wide open spaces, these tips work quite well. But on levels where space is very tight, especially ones with tiny corridors, it becomes incredibly frustrating because you'll often die over and over again thanks to sudden and quick enemy movement. Also frustrating is that you can only shoot horizontally, which means if an enemy gets stuck somewhere that you can't attack, you can be waiting around for ages for them to move to a position you can actually shoot. It's moments like this, where you feel that you're at the mercy of the RNG, that really bring the game down. Oh, I should also mention that you die with one hit. Luckily, the game at least gives you infinite lives, and the majority of levels are of the more open variety, which are quite a lot of fun. Still, more predictable behaviour, or at least warning players of sudden movement, would have improved this game immensely in my opinion. Another note in the game's favour is that, as I mentioned earlier, every single level is available from the very start. This means that if you do get stuck on a particularly hard level, you can just move onto a different one. With all the variety in the levels, I suspected that the game could have been inspired by the 1996 title Super Mario 64, which also gave the player a wide variety of objectives with a core set of abilities to complete them with. I asked Butler if this was the case, and he says that, well, he honestly can't remember. He knows he wanted to make a quote-unquote quest-type game where each level felt different, but isn't sure which game inspired him to do that. And though he did play Mario 64, he didn't own a Nintendo 64 until after he made all his games, as his family didn't have a lot of money. After all, Macs themselves cost a pretty penny, and probably set them back quite a bit. Oh, the game also has things in common with James Pond, but Butler never played that one. And as for the reason why he wanted to make a quest-type game, he says it was mostly because he just wanted to create different things each time he started making a new level. Now, I was on the fence about classifying Bob the Fish as either Best of the Mac or Rest of the Mac. I decided to make it Best since, despite some big flaws, I found the good far outweighed the bad, and overall, I had a very good time with the game. But then I hit a pretty big bug. I completed every single level in the hopes of showing you all the ending, but nothing happened once I collected all the pearls. The map showed that every level was complete, but nothing triggered and nothing new opened up. I thought perhaps it was the operating system, so I switched from OS 9 to OS 8.6 and finished all 49 levels again with the same result. I contacted John Butler about it, and he has no idea what's going on either. He doesn't have access to the source code, and since he tended to test levels individually, he isn't even sure he played through the whole game start to finish himself. Before you judge harshly, remember he was a teenager when he made this game basically entirely on his own. So, it's either a bug in the game, or it's caused by something on my end, such as the fact that I'm using the emulator Sheepshaver as I don't have access to my classic Macs at present. So, if anyone out there wants to finish the game on their real setup, let us know what happens. I'll even provide hints for any levels you're having trouble with. For now, the best I can do is read you the ending text found in the resource files, which reveals that there are two possible endings, one where you defeat Hamikushio and one where you befriend him. Here is the text for befriending him. As you shake Hamikushio's hand, you feel a sense of pride, because you solved the problem without violence. Soon, Hamikushio joined the ranks of Atlantis' finest. He became an outstanding citizen and was a role model to all. With the pearls safely returned, life went back to normal. Things were quiet. For now. And here is the text you're supposed to get when you defeat him. You watch as Hamikushio floats slowly to the top, but at least you have defeated him and he can harm no more. You think what could have been if you had only let him live, but you decide that what you did was the best thing for the situation. You swim slowly back into Atlantis with the pearls. Cheers are heard on every corner, yet you still feel a loss. Next time though, you'll be even more ready for whatever. One amusing thing that I forgot to mention is that when you kill an enemy, it floats upside down to the top of the screen, so by the end of the level, you have this mass of bodies up at the top. So, at least for now, I do not consider Bob the Fish to be one of the best games on the Mac, but I still think it's a unique, quirky game that's a lot of fun if you avoid the more tedious levels. Best of all, it's now freeware, making it easier than ever to try it out for yourself. And that is Bob the Fish from Monkey Farm Software. Thank you for watching.